3 months into placing a new ATM, I was staring at a devastating reality. Only 15 transactions a month when I needed 60 just to break even. I had the removal trucks scheduled and was ready to contact the owner and say this location isn't working out. I already started looking for other locations to place that ATM into. My $3,000 investment is becoming a costly investment in complete failure. But then, what was supposed to be in my final check for removal, I spotted something that changed everything. Today, that same failing ATM generates over $250 every month and has led to other locations because of that location. The maintenance secrets that I learned that very week have now transformed my entire ATM business. Want to know what I found? Let me take you behind the scenes on one of my greatest ATM turnarounds. How I saved an ATM location that was losing money. It was a Marathon gas station and it was closed for over a year. I saw there's some activity. I went to the location and talked to the owner repeatedly. But to my surprise, there was an ATM already in the location. I thought it was abandoned, but soon the owner of that ATM came into the store and said, hey, we had the ATM here, but they did a better job of convincing the owner to go with them, and they kept their ATM in the location. I told the gas station owner, that's an older ATM, you're going to have problems with that ATM, and I was going to put a new ATM in the location, but the gas station owner went with that ATM owner. So, left my card, said good luck, let us know if you need anything. 3 months later, what happened is the gas station owner, he called me and said, look, we got nothing problems with this ATM. Customers are complaining. Why don't you bring your ATM in? Okay, great. So we put a brand new ATM, hooked the ATM up, and started to do transactions. But I noticed after 1 month, we weren't doing the transactions that we were anticipating. So I started paying attention. Now, the second month goes by, same kind of process. We're not doing the ATM numbers that we're trying to do. Third month, I'm ready to pull it. I don't know why. So I did a final inspection, and what I discovered is back in that time, we were on a phone line. We just hooked up the phone line to the ATM. So what I did is I started listening. We could plug a phone line into that ATM and I could listen. And I noticed that there was static on the line. So then I traced the line from where the ATM was and I noticed that it went back to behind the counter and it was on another jack and there was a couple of splices there. So we ran that line and then I also noticed that every time the store owner picked up the phone that the ATM would go offline because what happens is it wasn't a dedicated phone line. They were at a shared line. So what I did is I eliminated the phone and I put it on a cellular device, therefore eliminating the signal from the store owner and creating our own dedicated signal. And then what happened is our transactions started to go up because every time the store owner picked up the phone, the ATM would go online, or if somebody go to use the ATM and then the store owner picked up, the ATM transaction would fail. This happened multiple times. And our transactions went from 15 to almost 200. So we have three principles for maintenance principle. We have diagnostic principle, we have the user principle, and the preventative protocol. So the diagnostic principle. So setting up the ATM the correct way. Whether you use, now in today's society, we don't use phone lines, we use their internet. So whether using their internet or your cell service, you got to pick the best protocol. Sometimes you think, well, I'm going to go the cheaper route, I'm going to use their internet. But when you're using their internet, a lot of things could happen. The wire that you use from your ATM to theirs, that could be a challenge. Maybe it wasn't done right. That could create interference and your transaction volume could be affected that. Sometimes their internet goes down and that could be why your ATM doesn't do transactions. And then sometimes they switch providers, you don't know for weeks on end, and then the ATM doesn't work or all those things. And I've also been in a location where they unplug your ATM and they plug something else in to use the internet and your ATM might be down for a day and you don't know it. User experience. Always test the transactions, whether if you're in a spot that you think should be a high volume spot, and it's not, go there multiple times at different times to test out the user experience. Make sure that your ATM is utilized for a cash withdrawal. Sometimes there's other factors that you're not sure of. Just by placing the ATM and going to put the cash in, you're not experiencing what the user is experiencing, and therefore your transaction volume could be down, especially in a location that you think it should be good. And preventative protocol principle, the signal, which is what we're talking about, the internet or the phone. The card reader, make sure that the card reader works all the time. Now, for those of you who are buying new, this isn't going to be an issue. But for those of you who have had an ATM for many years and you switch from place to place and now you put it in, sometimes the card readers go bad and you don't know about it. I just recently put an ATM in a location and the card reader, I went to put the card in there, it didn't clamp down, which means that could cause a lot of what we call fallback. Depending on what processors you're using, Fallback will get denied over and over again. So you might say, hey, the ATM works, you do a test, but when you put the test, it doesn't clamp down on your card, just puts it in and it lets it go. It'll default to swipe. If it defaults to swipe, your processor doesn't allow swipe, now they'll deny that transaction. So you won't get all the transactions. Make sure your card reader is good. And also, there's a couple other things that I've seen. Make sure the buttons work. So make sure the top buttons, there's got 4 buttons on either side. Make sure those buttons work. Sometimes they don't because they've been used so much and you didn't replace them. Or sometimes your keypad, you go to put the button and maybe one of the buttons don't work. You recognize this when you program the ATM, but not everybody's programming the ATM. So make sure you do test runs from time to time. Make sure your buttons on the keypad work. Make sure your buttons on the top work. Make sure your card reader works. Make sure your signal works. All those are factors on determining why your transaction volume could be low. So test your ATMs out from time to time. If I never tested to see why the ATM was only doing 15 transactions, then I would never known that there was a problem with the phone line. We would have yanked that ATM. We would have blown an opportunity not only to get that gas station and keep that gas station, but to pick up 2 other gas stations. Sometimes in the ATM business, you're sitting on a gold mine, but you just don't know that it's a gold mine. Sometimes you have to apply the maintenance principles to bring that business up and utilize your gold mine that you don't know is a gold mine until you use these principles. If you're thinking about starting your own ATM business but didn't know where to start, I want to invite you to our checklist entitled ATM Business Passive Income Checklist, the 5 things you need to know to start your profitable ATM business so you can have a clear roadmap towards ATM business success. You can earn between $250 and $1,500 of passive income every single month. If this sounds interesting to you, click the link down below and start your ATM journey today. Again, this is Phil with the ATM Mastermind Group page, where we buy your freedom back 1 transaction at a time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.